Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, final public hearing regarding the millage rate. This is a meeting that we listen to you, the public, and I am thrilled to see so many people here this evening. I will remind you that we have board meetings every month, and we would love to see you at every one of them. First, we'll have a presentation from Ms. Cooley, and then it is time to hear from you. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Moss, and good evening, everyone.
Before we jump into the presentation, I do have a few comments that I'd like to make about our budget process, if that's okay. So at its core, I see our budget as more than just dollars and cents and more than just a spreadsheet with numbers reflected on it. Our budget is a reflection of our values, our strategic plan and action, and the shared aspirations we have for the 36,000 students that we serve. Every dollar allocated and every dollar spent tells a story about what matters most. The budget process has been complex, and it's also been collaborative. It's been about choices, and it's been about trade-offs. And it's also about meeting the needs of our current circumstances while also planning for an unknown future. I fully realize that this community has entrusted me and the leadership teams with two of its most important assets, its children and its money. As it relates to the children, you have often heard me say that I am driven by the aspirations of our students having choice-filled lives, and this does not happen without a strong literacy foundation, a strong workforce development opportunity, a great teacher in every classroom with staff and leadership to meet the diverse needs of our students, and a school environment that is well-maintained and conducive to teaching and learning. Our bus drivers contribute to that, our counselors, our cafeteria workers, and our paraprofessionals also make that contribution. These employees in our district make the difference. They are the ones that are maximizing the potential, and they are the difference between potential and mediocrity. Our budget reflects a significant investment in students this year, a high-dose tutoring opportunity for a few of our schools, additional preschool classrooms, differentiated support for our most challenged schools, and our continued focus on literacy. I'm proud of those new initiatives and continuing initiatives. It also puts an even stronger investment in the ones who are truly making the difference in our schools, and that is our frontline employees. So improving their compensation structures has been a priority in this budget. These efforts have a price tag. That does not fall short on me. I realize they cost money, but I also believe that we will reap the rewards of a stronger workforce and students with the proficiency and skills to grow both now academically and take advantage of having a choice-filled life. We are on our way. Your support will continue to allow us to drive progress, fuel innovation, and ensure that every child gets what is needed to be successful, regardless of the zip code. I also would just like to leave you with two other tenets that are important to me. And those two tenets are operational efficiency and stewardship. These two tenets have been very important in my decision making as it relates to the budget and the millage rate. As it relates to the dollars that the community contributes, I am committed more than ever to lead with discipline and with care as it relates to the funding that you have invested in us. I think I have given you adequate evidence to date that I am looking to streamline systems, work smarter, and make cuts that do not sacrifice student outcomes and but promote operational efficiency. We have made millions of dollars in cuts and in reductions over the last 2 years, but I have done that strategically and responsibly without any negative consequences to date. As it relates to stewardship, I believe that there is adequate evidence to substantiate that I am committed to leading with integrity and transparency. I understand fully the need to work within our means. I fully acknowledge that our budget has increased in places as well. But please take into account that there are unfunded mandates from the state, and we too, as a school district, are burdened with the current economy and rising expenses. Please know that I will continue to examine every dollar spent and make reductions that do represent a return on investment. But I have to do that responsibly, with deliberation, and not just cutting to meet a target number. We chase efficiency not just for the sake of chasing efficiency, but we have to do that in a way that supports the systems in our school district and the students that we serve. So with that said, as we move forward, I want to thank each board member for their guidance and input. The push and the pull has helped me tremendously in the budget development process. Immense gratitude to the staff who've been asked to drill down in their budgets in a way that they have never done before. They've taken the time to lean in and learn more about how the budget works, and a willingness to make cuts. I'm also appreciative of every email, every call, every social media post, every news article, every public comment made in our hearings, and other communications. Your comments do not fall on deaf ears. I appreciate your input to the community and our families. And with that said, I'll turn it over to Paige.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Public hearing on the millage rate. Taxpayer Bill of Rights. Although the district is not seeking to raise the millage rate, any millage rate that is in excess of the rollback rate must be advertised as a tax increase, requires a press release to be issued, and requires 3 public hearings to be held. Last week, we held 2 public hearings on June 17th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., and this is our 3rd hearing, which is tonight, 6 p.m. In 1999, the Georgia General Assembly passed the Taxpayer Bill of Rights with the intent to prevent what was referred to as backdoor tax increases. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights and rules were developed by the Georgia Department of Revenue to implement this legislation to establish a process that all local government jurisdictions, which includes counties, cities, and boards of education, must follow. This process ensures full disclosure to the public for any increases, including increases that result from value inflation. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights was established to notify the public about inflationary increases to existing property values at the local government level. It also enhanced individual property owners' rights when objecting to and appealing an increase in a property's appraised value to the County Board of Assessors. According to the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, each taxing jurisdiction must roll back or reduce the millage rate each year to offset any inflationary increases in the tax digest. If the county or other governing authority elects to set their millage rate higher than the rollback rate, then they must follow certain requirements to notify the public that taxes are being increased. The public notification process includes 3 public hearings, public notices of the increase in the local newspaper, and press releases. Each year, the Chatham County Board of Assessors establishes the taxable value of all property in the county and publishes the certified tax digest for each taxing jurisdiction. The Board of Education has 2 separate taxing jurisdictions and therefore receives 2 separate digests, one for maintenance and operations and another for bond indebtedness. Each of these 2 taxing jurisdictions has its own millage rate, which is determined by the board. Taxable values exist for 6 types of property: real property, personal property, vehicles, mobile homes, timber, and heavy-duty equipment. Digest values for both jurisdictions are shown on the chart. The current digest amounts and amounts for the last 5 years were published in the local paper as required by law. Sometimes when assessed property values go up, homeowners will pay more taxes even when the school district millage rate remains unchanged or is lowered. Even though the millage rate has not gone up, taxpayers may see increased costs. This is because the value of their property has increased. In the chart presented, the red line represents the millage rate. The millage rate in the example is unchanged. As the property value increases in year 2, the higher tax liability is a result of increased property values. For fiscal year 2026, Savannah-Chatham County Public School System recommends no change in the current millage rate of 17.481 mils. Changes in the digest value of real property, one of the 6 types of property, can take 2 forms: new construction or reassessment of existing property. Once the assessor establishes the taxable value of real property, they calculate the millage equivalent of any reassessments, subtract it from last year's millage rate, and the result becomes the rollback rate. The millage equivalent is determined by taking the value of reassessments divided by the total digest and multiplying the result by last year's millage rate. This calculation is shown on the slide. The tentative millage rate adopted by the Board of Education for maintenance and operations exceeds the rollback rate. Here you see the 17.481 mils remains the same in the 2 millage rates from last year to the initial tentative rate for calendar year 2025. Calculation of school taxes on a home valued at $250,000 with only the state regular homestead exemption is shown on this slide. This is an example of a property tax bill in which the property value increases from the prior year using the recommended millage of 17.481 mils. The total estimated tax for county school M&O is $2,272.53. This slide shows an example of a property tax bill in which the property value does not change from the prior year using 17.481 mils. The total estimated tax for county school M&O is $2,097.72. This slide shows an example of a property tax bill in which the property value decreases from the prior year using the recommended millage of 17.481 mils. The total estimated tax county M&O is $1,922.91. This concludes the presentation on the school millage rate. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Crowley. So we have several people that have signed up to speak, and I'm very happy to see all of you here today. I will remind you that you're here to speak only on the budget and millage rate. This hearing is only regarding the budget and millage rate. Okay, let's get started. First, Frida Smith.
Good evening, Chairman Moss, Dr. Watts, and members of the board. I am Freda Smith, and that's okay. It's mispronounced always. I and my husband have been living in Savannah for going on 20 years now. We are homeowners, and can y'all hear me? Yes. And I am also a partner with Julian Miller, Martin Miller, and Jesse Petrie in our commercial rental real estate business. We have property here in Savannah, and we have numerous properties throughout the state. So we're no stranger to paying property taxes and understanding property taxes. So a couple of weeks ago, when the announcement came out of this hearing, I took it upon myself to go to the state board or the school board website and compile a lot of data, because there's plenty of it there that you guys have graciously put out for past and proposed budgets. Put all those in a spreadsheet, and I then created numerous charts that I'm hoping I can leave with you guys, because I think they'll be very helpful to you. I do this often in running our businesses, but there's so much there. I'm going to make it easy on you and just ask one simple question, and that is, I want to ask why it is that between fiscal year 2019 and now coming up on 2026, the revenue has increased by 68% at a time when school enrollment has gone down by 5%. That's my big ask to understand. I think it's kind of an alarming trend, actually worse than what the federal government has done over the last 7 years. So I'm not putting pressure for you to answer the question right now. I'm going to request that you do not approve this budget, and that instead you table the budget and work with the administration to take a look at what has caused this and help us, the taxpayers, understand it. I'm not going to ask for anything else, but I'm going to quickly leave you with, I assume you probably already are aware of this, but if not, there was a bill passed that was put forth by our local delegation in the legislature this past session. It's House Bill 782, named the Chatham County Schools Tax Relief Act. And in November, it will be on the ballot for us to vote on a referendum of whether to eliminate the CPI increases that the school board has enjoyed. Y'all obviously know about this, so I'll leave it at that, and I really appreciate your enabling me to talk. Can I leave this information with someone?
Give it to the officer,
Okay.
please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Ms. Beth Maggioroni. And everyone, each of you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Beth Maggioroni. I'm a retired reading teacher, and I've given over 30 school board speeches since the summer of 2021. I care about Savannah Chatham Public Schools. Dr. Watts, you have been a breath of fresh air since you were hired 2 years ago. I consider the school system lucky to have you. Your top strengths include your transparency, your focus on literacy as the North Star, and your ability to listen. We have engaged multiple times, and I've always felt heard by you, even in those instances where we've had to agree to disagree. With this budget, and coupled with your 2-year tenure, the school district finds itself at a crossroads as it relates to fiscal responsibility. To illustrate the problem, note that since 2020, the school district's budget has increased cumulatively at approximately 25% over inflation, along with declining enrollment. Every year, the school district comes back to us, the taxpayers, to help the system throw more money at problems that money alone won't solve. If money would have solved it, we wouldn't continue to see our test scores decline and our level of difficulty in recruiting teachers increase. As the superintendent, you alone at this point in your tenure have the power to change the embarrassing pattern of accepting what's been done for at least the past decade of kicking the budget can down the road. I humbly put forth a suggestion for your consideration that would fully roll back the millage rate. The community applauds your policy where vacancies weren't filled, which contributed to the district's $28 million surplus in the unreserved fund balance referenced at a previous meeting. In following the public information shared, it's also been noted that the system already has an acceptable 2.5 months in their general fund. The $28 million surplus isn't needed to ensure that benchmark of security. This opens the door for the surplus to instead enable you as superintendent to fully roll back the millage rate to 16.826 mils. Notably, my suggestion only solves this year's issue, but it allows time for true change for the next budget cycle. I would suggest you strongly consider using a zero-based budget model versus traditional budgeting for the 2026-27 budget. Zero-based budgeting requires justifying every expense from scratch each budget cycle rather than adjusting prior budgets. The zero-based budget process helps prioritize resources, yields leaner budgets, and redirects funds to strategic priorities in real time. Thank you for considering my two suggestions, which would accomplish nullifying the tax increase this year and providing a template for overhauling the budget process for next year. Good evening.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Burt Brantley.
Hey, good evening. Good to see you guys. The last time I was here, we were talking about East Floss, and we were proud to partner with you guys on that program, and our chamber board voted to support that, and congratulations on the overwhelming support that the voters showed. I'm here tonight just to quickly represent our 2,300 members at the Savannah Chamber and acknowledge the challenges that Superintendent Watts laid out, and just remind you that our businesses are facing those exact same challenges: rising costs, rising supplies, rising salaries. All those things are the same things that our businesses face every day. And so as when we supported the East Floss back in the spring, we asked really for two things from the system: continued transparency around the expenditures around those. Thank you for that, and look forward to continuing to get those reports and sharing those with our members so that we see the progress on those projects and on that funding. And then secondly, consideration of rollback of the millage because our businesses are facing those challenges every day. So thank you for doing these public hearings. Thank you for hearing from both our citizens and our businesses as well. Thank you for the focus on early literacy. We know that's the key. Thank you for your focus on attendance. You have to be there in order to be able to read. And so we are fully supportive of those efforts. We'll continue to stand with you, with your staff and the board on addressing those real challenges that we face every day in our schools. And so we look forward to tackling those together. Thank you for hearing us tonight, and good luck. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Timothy Canny? Connie? Canny, okay.
Hello. Nice to talk to you, and thanks for having this meeting. My name is Timothy Canny, and I'm a concerned tax-paying resident of 44 years. And I want to speak out against your proposal to increase property taxes. I've heard the number of students in the system is actually going down, and the test scores are also going down. So how can you justify raising taxes even more? I know the millage is staying the same, but the value of the house is going up. So obviously the taxes will be going up for me. And I'm on a fixed income now. I'm retired. So it's just going to make life more and more difficult for me and many, many other people. So I wish you would reconsider this and perhaps go to the zero-based budgeting, as someone else has suggested. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Matthew Sauce?
All righty, I appreciate it. And you got it on the first guess. It's usually sauce, things all over the place. Just going to go ahead and get started here. President Moss, esteemed members of the board, appreciate you guys putting this together, having us here, seeing so many people out in the audience here talking about this, on one side or the other. It's really exciting, good to hear, good to see. Like stated before, my name is Matthew Sauce. I've lived here 27 of my 30 years here in Savannah on the south side. And I, too, am here to speak out against the proposal to increase property taxes through a status quo millage rate. As many other members have explained, your proposal to keep the current millage rate will result in an increase in property taxes. People are already struggling greatly with the rising cost of living and, the skyrocketing property values that we see bi-yearly through the assessor's office. Many say that parents need to pull their weight with education at home, but if parents had less of a tax burden, they would be able to work less and would be able to be at home with their family more. If you increase the tax burden, parents will have to work more and will have to spend less time with their kids. We need a full rollback of the millage rate so that Chatham County residents don't see any new tax from the school board. And the time that I've got here, I'll detail exactly why this proposal is against the interests of the everyday Chatham resident. And this is all public information. First, according to your website, Savannah Chatham County school enrollment rates are down as stated before. Testing scores are down as stated before, but you guys are proposing to bring our property taxes up. Less kids are in school than last year. Our student scores are well below the state average, and the proposal wants us to fund more of this through our property taxes with our own hard-earned money. I imagine your counter argument to this would be that the graduation rates have significantly increased, but if testing scores are down, that means we've lowered the bar. Second, the expectation from the citizenry is that once we passed East Bloss, we wouldn't see any new taxes. We've got $700 million plus dedicated over the next 5 years in education funding. On top of the proposal to increase property taxes by this board, the city is proposing a token rollback that will give incorporated residents a slight tax increase, while the county commission is raising property taxes in incorporated areas exponentially. Third, where is this money going? According to a report by the Georgia Public Policy Foundation, the Savannah Chatham County School administrative staff has increased from 26 to 136 in the past 10 years. Like others have said, you guys should be providing tax relief, not tax increases. For these reasons, I strongly urge you guys to oppose the proposal and fully roll back the millage rate so that we see no new taxes here in 2025. I appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Tommy Grooms?
Hello. It's good to see you folks. I appreciate you having this meeting and allowing us, we the public, we the people, to come address it with you. My name is Tommy Grooms. I'm a native Savannian, heritage going back to 1951. I'm retired from the United States Air Force, senior citizen, and a widower on a very fixed income. And obviously, by virtue of that, you can perceive what I'm going at is asking that you seriously consider not raising taxes. It's something that's going to be devastating to a lot of folks. I'm sure a lot of you here who've been around perhaps as long or almost as long as I have can attest that I live on Whitmarsh Island, to the folks on Tybee Island who've been priced out of their homes due to the taxes rising over the years exponentially, to the point where they cannot afford their homes and they've left, and now so many of them become short-term rentals. I know that's another issue there, but the fact is also coupled in with that are the education taxes. And I want you to consider that as well, because now I'm starting to see short-term rentals even on my island where I live, on Whitmarsh. And with education taxes going up, it's going to affect a lot of us. I hate to see myself nor my neighbors lose our homes because we cannot afford them anymore. It's something to really be considered. Think about, if not yourselves, then your parents, your family members, your friends, how this affects them. Think about the big picture, not just Board of Education. Think about the big picture, we the people. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rhonda Hambrick?
Hi, thank you for having us here today. My name is Rhonda Hambrick, and I also am a concerned tax-paying citizen of 60 years, also on a fixed income, and my taxes are skyrocketing. My assessment went up 62%, which caused my taxes to go up quite a bit as well. And at this rate, very soon I could be taxed out of my house as well. So that's why I urge you to oppose the proposal to keep and support the millage rate so that we don't see any new taxes in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Peter Robine?
Good evening. My name is Peter Robine. It's good to be back at one of your sham meetings where the outcome has already been decided before the meeting. I know this is not a wisecrack remark. I've said here before meetings when people who are well-dressed, polite, well-spoken, intelligent, respectful, come up here and plead a very elegant case for why we should not raise budgets and taxes, and then you just go ahead and do it anyway. So look, enrollment is going down, not up. Costs should go down, not up. Property values are going up, not down. So the millage rate should actually have gone smaller rather than raise people's taxes, because even when property taxes, when home values go up, people are older, they live in those houses, and they get forced out of their homes by the taxes. Just because you live in an expensive home doesn't mean you can afford it. At the same time, test scores go down, not up. And Dr. Watts, you made a very beautiful case at the beginning of the meeting. If it were only true, I mean, honest to goodness, you know, most Americans, your graduating class, most of those kids don't have a clue. Uneducated, especially when it comes to understanding anything about their own country. I know. Remember a year ago, I gave you all a petition to sign. Nobody, never returned a phone call, doctor. Never did it. So I stopped wasting my time. But you know what? You need to be more respectful to your community. I looked up the U.S. Census website, and the median income for Chatham County residents is under $35,000. So, Dr. Watts, you're being paid literally 10 times the rate of earnings of the people you serve. 10 times. How is that fair? You know, if you want to cut you need to cut expenses. Not raise, not get more money, cut expenses. Sell some properties. Cut expenses. Be more respectful to the people who come here to talk to you. Don't raise taxes on people who can't afford it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Glad to.
Mr. Martin Miller?
Dr. Moss, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you so much for having this meeting. I appreciate you listening to the people. I signed up because I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to speak if I needed to. I think every point that I would have made has been made. I do encourage you to please look and take into consideration the information that Freda has put before you. She didn't tell you this, but she has spent hours and hours and hours digging into the information that you put on the website to bring out questions that show you what the normal human being would want to know. The questions are not answered in the information that you put on the website, because it's pretty difficult to read pages and pages and pages of what is done by professionals for professionals. But the questions that she's put out before you are the questions that the normal person wants to know. Why are taxes going up? You understand that the millage rate is constant, but why are dollars being spent, more dollars being spent when enrollment is going down? She's got information in there that shows you how much it costs per the information that you put in your website, how much it costs to educate one child in a year. I think I would encourage you to please take that information into consideration before you make a final decision. thank you again for having us here, for inviting these people to speak to you. It's important for people to be able to come and talk to boards who have control of the monies that you do. So thank you for your work.
Thank you, sir. And finally, Ramsey Clady.
Chairman, how are you? Martin's right. It's interesting that, hi Roger, that many of you, if you've been known since you were, I know your parents and fathers, and you were little girls even. There's many people here that I know, and I've watched all of you because my wife said, you have to go. I mean, I said, I'm going. And I can't even imagine the amount of time and who's in this room. So we're here to shed some light. And there are two main issues, and I really wanted to look at this from a macro view. I've been here since 1979. I was a very young man, and I've made my career in affordable housing, places to live, and jobs. At Jenkins, many of the high schools, we had work programs, and the teachers would allow the students, there were people, we used to call them Dodge City or wherever, the west side in the Victorian district. There was Hazard County on the east side. So many students, young people, wanted to do something and to get into the work environment. So I worked, study. So there were programs. There aren't any anymore. I don't see them. But I did, on the macro look, there's two things I just want to address. One of them are numbers, scorecards. And I did a little study not of Savannah Chatham, but of other schools and other tuition averages. We are at 18,500, 666 million and some change for 36,000 students. Easy number to come by. Other private schools that start out with about $5,000 or $6,000 through K4, and then it gets up to about $14,000 or $15,000. These are quality schools. At Chatham County, our quality schools are at $13,000 on average. If you take St. Andrews and BC, I'm gonna do a spreadsheet. I don't have all my data together yet, but I'd like to bring it forward as a citizen. We have gotten tax increases and I can tell you, Martin and Freda can tell you, from 50%, just take numbers, say $100,000 in 2 years is $150,000. So with a tax digest like that, I've got one warehouse that went up 500% in 1 year. So our tenant is going to move. He's going to go to another county. We've got warehouses in Liberty, in Bryan, and now Bullock. And part of that, the issue of when you look at a tax bill from a neighboring county versus Chatham, the amount of revenue, the amount of money you're working with, almost $700 million every single year, is an enormous amount of opportunity. And one of the things that I was thinking about, back to the macro, so we got this tuition aside per student, is real estate. Savannah High, for instance, we all were there at the groundbreaking, we all were crying and everything, but it's 300 or 400, it's underutilized. That building, I saw lots of buildings, Ramona Riley, all the ones, so many of the schools, that the school board looked at, identified, and closed, and said, we can't afford this. There are buildings you can't afford anymore. And it's not, I watch you, it's a tempest in a teacup. You're struggling, you're fighting, you've got a tide of enrollment down and costs up. They're never going to meet again. And I've seen many people in here look at something and go, well, I didn't see this until this morning. Or this is not a competitive bid. We have to bid competitively. I'm just asking you to look at it in a larger picture and oversee your assets and make your demand fit your assets. And then that'll be a good starting point.
Thank you, Mr. Khalidi.
I won't be able to use any of this, but thank you.
No, and do you have something you can leave with this?
No, I will, though.
Okay.
I was going to come tomorrow night as well. So I've got a couple of spreadsheets, absolutely.
We don't have a meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, I thought there was another one tomorrow. Oh, well, I'm glad I came tonight. I can reach out to you. I will do that as a
Just reach
public
out,
servant.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Clady. All right. I will now, that's everyone. I will now accept a motion to adjourn. Adjourn the hearing, yes. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? All right. We need 5 minutes.